There was a time when I would have done anything for my little sister, Sarah. She was my best friend growing up, the one who knew all my secrets, the one who always had my back. So when she announced her engagement, I was genuinely thrilled. I helped her plan the wedding, picked out dresses with her, and even tolerated her endless debates over flower arrangements. But somewhere along the way, something changed. It started with small things I told myself were nothing. Sarah laughed a little too hard at my boyfriend Tom's jokes, even when they weren't funny. She found excuses to touch him, a lingering hand on his arm, a casual brush of her fingers against his back. At first, I pushed my doubts aside. She's just excited about the wedding, I told myself. She doesn't mean anything by it. But as the wedding day grew closer, so did Sarah, to Tom. And then, 1 week before her wedding, I caught them. Not just flirting, not just standing too close. Kissing, in our parents' garden. His hands on her body, her legs wrapped around his waist. The air left my lungs. For weeks, I had been made to feel paranoid, insecure, crazy. Everyone, Tom, Sarah, even my own parents, told me I was imagining things, that I was overreacting. But I wasn't crazy. I was right. And when Sarah walked down the aisle days later thinking she had gotten away with it, she had no idea what was coming. The first time I noticed something was off, we were at a family dinner. Tom had told a joke, something dumb about his favorite football team losing again, and Sarah threw her head back in laughter like he was the funniest man alive. It wasn't just the laugh. It was the way she leaned in, the way her fingers brushed his arm as she reached for her drink. I told myself I was overthinking it. But then it kept happening. She found reasons to be around him constantly. She needed help moving a heavy box. She asked him to taste test her wedding cake flavors. She just happened to sit next to him at every gathering. When I finally brought it up to Tom, he laughed. "You're being ridiculous, babe. She's your sister. She's just friendly." Maybe he was right. Maybe I was being ridiculous, but my gut wouldn't let it go. Then came the night at the barbecue. I had gone inside to use the bathroom, and when I stepped back out, I saw them, standing too close, talking in hushed voices. Sarah giggled, lightly, smacking his chest as if he had just said the most charming thing in the world. The moment they noticed me, they stepped apart. I didn't say anything, but the knot in my stomach tightened. I tried to let it go, tried to ignore the way she touched his shoulder a second too long, tried to pretend I didn't see the way her eyes lingered on him when she thought no one was watching. But it was driving me insane. So I confronted her. We met for coffee, and I laid it all out. The flirting, the touching, the way she was always there. She stared at me for a moment, then laughed. "Oh my God, are you serious?" she scoffed. "Tom is practically my brother. You really think I'm interested in him? That's just sad." Her words cut deep. Was I being sad? Was I just insecure? I walked away feeling small, until 1 week before her wedding. I had gone to my parents' house hoping to smooth things over. I didn't want to fight with Sarah, not right before her big day, but as I approached the front door I heard voices. Low. Intimate. Curious, I stepped around the house to the garden and froze. Sarah Tom, locked in a passionate embrace. Her hands, tangled in his hair, his fingers gripping her waist, her legs wrapped around him. His hand, God, his hand was under her top. They didn't even see me. For a moment I couldn't breathe. Then, my voice ripped through the air like a thunderclap. "What the hell is this?" They jumped apart like they had been electrocuted. Sarah's face turned ghostly white. Tom stammered, "It's not what it looks like." But it was. It was exactly what it looked like. My whole body shook. My vision blurred with rage and betrayal. "How could you?" I choked out. "How could you do this to me? Sarah started crying. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I didn't want to hear it. I turned and walked away. Tom shouted my name. Sarah begged me to listen, but I was done. That night I packed my things and left. I blocked Tom's number, ignored Sarah's calls, shut out my parents when they accused me of ruining her wedding, because if I had ruined anything, it wasn't me who started it. I wasn't going to tell Mark, Sarah's fiancé. I figured he deserved to know, but I wasn't sure if I could handle more drama. Then 2 days before the wedding, I made the call. His voice was calm as I told him everything. And when the wedding day arrived, I waited. I wasn't there, but my cousin Emma was. That night, she called me, breathless with excitement. Oh my God, you won't believe what happened. Apparently, everything had seemed normal, until the vows. Mark stood at the altar, staring at Sarah as she smiled at him in her perfect white dress. Then he took a deep breath and said, I can't do this. Gasps filled the room. Sarah's smile froze. I can't marry someone who betrayed her own sister. The entire church went silent. My parents paled. The guests whispered in shock. And Sarah? She burst into tears. Mark turned to my parents. You wanted to know why your daughter wasn't here today? This is why. Then he walked out, leaving Sarah standing there, alone. When Emma finished telling me what happened, I sat in stunned silence. I should have felt victorious, vindicated. But mostly, I just felt empty. I had lost my sister, lost my relationship, and my family was in pieces. But if there was one thing I had gained, it was this. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I had trusted my gut, and I would never, ever doubt myself again.